Hello, everyone. Good day to all the grade 10 students of Pambuhan National High School. Welcome back to another video lesson for Mathematics grade 10. This will be our last lesson for the third quarter. So today we're going to discuss all about the probability of independent and dependent events. So what could be our objectives? First, we will illustrate the probability of independent and dependent events. And second, we will solve problems involving dependent and independent events. So what is independent event? Independent events is that the occurrence of one event does not affect the occurrence of the other. These are events that has no connection to another event's chances of happening. So there is no connection between these two events. So that is why they are considered as independent events. And this uses the keyword with replacement. And to solve for independent events, that is the probability of A and B with replacement is equal to the probability of A times the probability of B. For example, a coin and a die are tossed simultaneously. What is the probability that the coin will land on the head and the die on less than 3? So the first event is the coin that will land on the head, and the second event is a die. So clearly, this shows, or these two events illustrates independent. So the first event is not connected to the second event. So they are considered as independent events. Again, how are we going to solve for this? We will just multiply the probability of head and the probability of a coin which lands on the less than 3 is equal to the probability of head times the probability of less than 3. And so what is the probability of a head? That is 1 over 2, or 1/2, times the probability of a coin that will land on less than 3. So what are those favorable outcomes? That is 1 and 2. So these are the numbers less than 3. So there are 2 favorable outcomes out of how many total outcomes are there in tossing in rolling a die? There are 6. So the probability of less than landing on a die which is less than 3, that is 2 over 6. So that is 1/2 times 2 over 6. So to solve for these fractions, multiplying this, so in a shortcut method, you can easily cancel out or divide the common factors of the numerator and the denominator. So 2 is common in the numerator and in the denominator, so you divide them. So 2 divided by 2 will be equal to 1. So what will you do now is to multiply. 1 times 1 is 1 in the numerator, and in the denominator 1 times 6 is 6. So that is 1 over 6. So the probability of that the coin will land on a head and a die on less than 3 is 1 over 6. Another example. A bag contains 2 red marbles and 1 blue marble. Ezra draws marble, then returns it to the bag. He draws a second marble. What is the probability that the first marble is red and the second one is blue? Okay, so how many marbles are there in all? There are 3. 2 red marble and 1 blue marble. The first event is that the first marble is red. So and then returns it. And also Ezra draws the marble, then returns it. So binalik niya. So therefore, this is independent. Hindi maapektuhan yung second event. So this is an example of independent event. So what are we going to do? We will multiply the probability of red and blue. That is equal to the probability of red times the probability of blue. And what is the probability of drawing a red marble? That is 2 out of 3. So 2 over 3 times the probability of getting a blue marble, that is 1. So there is 1 blue out of 3. So 1 over 3. So multiplying 2 over 3 times 1/3. So there is no common factor in the numerator and in the denominator. So you can proceed directly to the rules in multiplication of fractions. Multiply the numerator by the numerator and the denominator by the denominator. So 2 times 1 is 2 and 3 times 3 is 9. So that is 2 over 9. So the probability that the first marble is red and the second marble is blue is 2 over 9. Next, the third example. What is the probability of getting a heart and a spade card with replacement from a standard deck of cards? Okay. So the probability of getting a heart and a spade card with replacement. So binalik, ano? Okay, so these are independent events. So the probability of getting a heart and spade is equal to the probability of a heart times the probability of spade. So how many hearts are there in a standard deck of cards? There are 13. So the probability of getting a heart is 13 over 52. And then the probability of getting a spade card, how many spade cards are there? There are also 13. So 13 over 52. Okay, so first step, you express first in the lowest term by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by their GCF. So 13 over 52 can be simplified as 1/4, by dividing both by 13. So 13 divided by 13 is 1 and 52 divided by 13 is 4. So 1/4 is the lowest term. So copy times, again, 13 over 52 is 1/4. So that is 1/4 times 1/4. So now there is no common factor in the numerator and in the denominator. So you multiply both the numerators. 1 times 1 is 1 and the denominators 4 times 4 is 16. So 1 over 16. So the probability of getting a heart and a spade card with replacement is equal to 1 over 16. So this is how we solve the probability of independent events. Now, how about the dependent events? What do we consider events that are dependent? So that is when the result of one event affects the result of the other event. Okay, so that is an example. That is the independent event. The result of one event affects the result of the other event. And this uses the keyword without replacement. So hindi binalik, no replacement. So kaya naapektuhan yung second event by the first event. And how do we solve for this? That is the probability of A and B without replacement is equal to the probability of A times the probability of B given A. Okay, so that symbol P, the probability of B given A, that is read as the probability of B given A. It means the probability of B given that A occurred already. Okay, so naapektuhan yung second event by the first event. So, for example, what is the probability of picking a jack and a king card without replacement from a standard deck of cards? Okay, so the first event is picking a jack, and the second event is picking a king card, and then without replacement. So hindi binalik. Okay, so therefore, using the formula, so the probability of getting a jack and a king is equal to, what is the probability of picking a jack? How many jacks are there? There are 4 jacks out of 52. So the probability of picking a jack is 4 over 52 times, what is the probability of picking a king card? The second event is king. How many kings are there? There are 4 kings. So since without replacement, so hindi binalik, so ilan na lang yung cards doon? There are only 51. Kasi hindi binalik. So therefore, the probability of picking a king card is 4 over 51. So now, you have 4 over 52 times 4 over 51. So again, to solve this, you can express first to the lowest term, the fraction 4 over 52, by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by their GCF. So 4 over 52 and the lowest term is 1 over 13. So we divide both of this by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 52 divided by 4 is 13. Then you bring down times 4 over 51. So you have 1 over 13 times 4 over 51. So take notice that there is no common factors now. So you can easily multiply both the numerators. 1 times 4 is 4. And 13 times 51 is 663. So the probability of picking a jack and a king card without replacement is 4 over 663. And the last example. What is the probability of getting a heart, spade, and another heart without replacing the previous cards? Okay, so how many events do we have here? There are 3. Getting a heart, a spade, and another heart. And then without replacing. Okay, so since we have there the keyword without replacing, so therefore this is an example of dependent event. So the probability of the second event and the third event was affected by the first event, by the previous event. So what is the probability of getting a heart? How many hearts are there? There are 13. So 13 out of 52. So 13 over 52. And then the probability of getting a spade. How many spades are there? There are also 13. But then hindi na binalik, di ba, kasi without replacing. So ilan na lang yung nandoon sa deck of cards? There are only 51. So therefore, the probability of the second event spade is 13 over 51. And then the third event, what is the probability of getting a heart? So kasi nakuha na yung isang heart, so ilan na lang yung heart na nandun ngayon? So there are only 12. Tapos, dalawa na yung nakuha. So, ilan na lang yung all cards doon sa deck of cards? There are only 50. So, that is 12 over 50. So, you have 13 over 52 times 13 over 51 times 12 over 50. So, again, you have to express first to the lowest term. 13 over 52 is equal to 1/4. Then you copy 13 over 51. And 12 over 50 in the lowest term. So there is a common factor 2. So you can divide. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And 50 divided by 2 is 25. So this is 6 over 25. Now, you have 1/4 times 13 over 51 times 6 over 25. So observe and look for common factors in the numerator and in the denominator. So 6 and 4, there is a common factor 2. So you can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2. So you have 4 divided by 2 will be, this 1/2 will become, 1/4 will become 1/2. And this 6 will become 3. Kasi dinivide mo yung ng 2. But then, ito yung 3 dito, tapos yung 51, common factor ang 3, you can divide both 6 and 51 by 3. At 3 na lang. 3 divided by 3 magiging 1 over 25 na lang siya. Tapos 51 divided by 3 sa denominator magiging, yung 51 divided by 3 is 17. So this will become 13 over 17. Okay? So 13 over 17. 13 ito. Then ito magiging 1 times 1 over 25. So 1 times 13 times 1 is 13. And 2 times 17 times 25 is 850. So that is 13 over 850. Okay. So the probability of getting a heart, spade, and another heart is 13 over 850. So this is how we solve for dependent events. Right. So here is our short quiz to be posted in the class FB group. This is our problem number 1 and problem number 2. That's all. Thank you and goodbye. This is your Sir Crisanto Siervo. Enjoy learning mathematics.